Oh my goodness, I had such an amazing reading month. I cannot believe all the good books I've read. These are all the books I have read in July. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, I'm Emily and I love talking about books. So in today's video, I'm just going to show you all the books I have read in July. It's crazy that it's the middle of summer and I'm super cold because the weather in Germany is just absolute bullshit, but that's okay. Rocking the sweaters already in August. Anyways, let's talk about all the books I have read. In total, I have read 24 books, which I feel like is pretty good. I listened to some books, I read some books on my Kindle, and I read a lot of books from my physical TBR this month, which is really cool. And I love that for me, so. Also, comment down below your favorite book that you have read in July, because I'm really curious what your favorite books were and get some new inspirations. Yeah, anyways, let's get into all the books I have read this month. Funny side note, I'm filming this now the third time because every time something goes wrong, so yeah, anyways. The first book that I read was Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I love her writing so much. It is just incredible. That's all I'm gonna say. It's so good and refreshing and just fun in a way. I don't know if that makes sense, but just really relatable, I feel like, and very real, because it's a funny rom-com and you laugh so many times, but it's also like really like deep topics, and I feel like that's really cool because the male main character has anxiety and just gets represented really well. So that was just amazing, and it also takes place in a hospital, which was so fun. And this is part of your world series. I don't know if they're going to be more books. I hope so. Anyways, major Grey's Anatomy vibes and just a really good romance book, and I gave it 4 stars just because of the ending, or the third act breakup just was really annoying. Then I read I Found You by Lisa Jewell, and I gave that one as well 4 stars. It was a fun thriller, not my favorite by her. Like, Then She Was Gone, Then She Disappeared. There were so many better ones, I feel like, with more plot twists, but this was still a really good thriller if you're into thrillers and want a more summary book, because it takes place in the UK in a beach town, which was incredible fun, so that was really cool. And it's basically about a guy who goes to this beach town and then he forgets everything and why he ended up there, what's his name and stuff like that, and he gets help by this very trusting woman and her family, which was really fun. And yeah, I really like this book. Very good. I just love her writing so much, so I always love her books. Then I listened to the audiobook Behind Closed Doors, which was a really fun thriller as well. It was nothing super crazy, super new, definitely kind of used to that plot, I feel like. And because it's about this woman who's in an abusive relationship with her husband, who's kind of like emotionally abusing her. She can't have her own credit cards, she can't leave the house alone without him. From the outside they seem kind of perfect, from the inside they are not, but it was still really entertaining, I would say, like a good audiobook. I love that it was British. I just love the accent so much. That was really cool. And also the man, he was evil on a whole new level, so that was kind of crazy, but yeah. Then I listened to the audiobook of All Good People Here, which is by the author Ashley Flowers, who is doing the podcast, true crime podcast, Crime Junkie, which I absolutely love, so that's really fun. Like, I've been wanting to read her books for such a long time, so I'm really happy that I finally got around to reading it, and it was really good. I feel like for her debut novel, like, nothing too crazy was happening, but that was okay, I feel like, and I still had a really good time. And it's basically about a girl who goes missing, and there's a journalist trying to figure out what happened to her. And at the same time, he goes back 30 years where something very similar happened in this town again already. So you're trying to figure out how does it fit together, or does it even fit together, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, really enjoyed it. Then I read The Kind Saving, which is the second book in the Kindworth Killing series that came out like 8 years ago, and now there's a new book. I didn't love the Kindworth Killing, so I didn't love the Kindworth Saving, just because I don't love the characters, but it was a fine book, enjoyable, quick thriller, I would say. Like, I think 300 pages and nothing too crazy, so really good, really fun, different POVs, which is always fun in a thriller, I feel like. So yeah, I can't really say too much about the plot just because it's about the second book, you know, but I gave it 4 stars, so yes. Then I read / listened to the book A Curious Beginning, which is the first book in the Veronica Speedwell series, which Katie is reading from YouTube, has been recommending so much, and I love her recommendations, so really wanted to try it out, and it was definitely fun. I don't love historical fiction and historical romance, mystery, I don't know, but it was so good. Like, I love a powerful woman in the 18th century that is not like stereotypical, like, oh, I need a husband, and you know, that kind of thing. So that was really fun, and it was certainly interesting, you know what I mean? So really good, but nothing too crazy, I would say. But yeah, good beginning to a series I could potentially keep on reading. Then I read Us Against You, and this one was so good. It was incredible. I loved it so much. I love Fredrik Backman's writing because there are always multiple POVs and you get so many different characters, which I personally absolutely adore. I also annotated the book, and yeah, this is basically the second book in the Beartown series, and this series takes place in Sweden in a small little hockey town called Beartown, and then there's a sexual assault happening to one of the girls living in the town by one of the hockey players, and you'll see like the aftermath, what's happening to each of the characters after this sexual assault. That is just horrible. But yeah, it's really sad and like tragic kind of, but also so beautifully written and so important to talk about, I feel like. And yeah, I really just love it, and I especially love Benji, and he was so much in the second book, which I personally absolutely adored, so that was really cool. This one was definitely, I feel like, more political, but that was okay, so I didn't really mind it. But yeah, I gave that one 5 stars. It was so good. I'm so scared to read this third one. Like, gonna keep procrastinating reading that for a long time. Then I listened to the audiobook Stone Cold Fox, which was an okay audiobook about a con artist, and she's trying to marry into this like rich family in New York, you know, living the good life, and she comes from a like poor family, or like she and her mom were like con artists and trying to always like get rich husbands, and she keeps on doing that. And I feel like I was just like always waiting for the plot twist. Like, there was no plot twist. I was like, what's gonna happen? The ending was just like meh, you know? So I didn't particularly love it and hate it. It was a fine audiobook, you know what I mean? So I gave it 3 stars. Then I read a huge trilogy, and that was Caraval. Yep, I finally read Caraval. It has been on my TBR forever, so I'm really glad I finally read it. It was really fun. It was very YA, I feel like, and nothing too crazy, I feel like. And I didn't love the main characters, so that was kind of my problem with it. So I gave the first one 3 stars, the second one 3.25, and then this one 3.75, which is kind of annoying, but that's okay. But basically, the first one is about Scarlett, and she goes to Caraval. This is a stalker that's always traveling around, and with her sister, but her sister gets kidnapped, and she needs to figure out where she is. And to figure out where her sister is, she needs to win Caraval, the game. The second book is about Tella, her sister, and her romance, and everything that's happening to her after Caraval, and it just felt kind of repetitive. I liked the main character more in this one, so that's why I gave it a higher rating, but it was so similar. But that's okay. And then we have the third one, which was Finale, which was definitely the most fun because it had different POVs between the two sisters, Scarlet and Donatella, so that was fun. But in general, I don't know, I just didn't love it. But we saw so much of Jax in the second and third book, which was extremely fun because I'm excited now to read Once Upon a Broken Heart because he was really cool. But yeah, it just didn't knock me off my socks, I would say. But it was a fine YA trilogy. Then I listened to the audiobook 28 Summers by Alan Hildebrand. I was a bit skeptical going into this book because it's about cheating, basically, it's the main trope. Because it's about Mallory and Jack, and they meet every summer and Labor Day in Nantucket, where Mallory is living her whole year round. But also Jack is also in a relationship with somebody else, you know, living in Washington DC, his life there with his girlfriend. So he's kind of just like cheating for 28 years. But I don't know, something about it was really good. I love the writing. I love that there were so many multiple POVs from all over the family and friends, which was really interesting. There were so many different plot points next to the cheating and that whole relationship, which was really good. And I love that we could see them over 28 years, which was really cool. And I really enjoyed it. And I don't know, I don't love the cheating trope, but in this one it was kind of like alright, I feel like, because nobody got really like hurt, I feel like, and they were just so good together. I don't know, but Jake, he should have done something, I know. But anyways, and then I listened to The Sixth Wedding, which is the small novella following the book, which is just really cute and simple and fine. But yeah, I loved going back to the characters, so I had no complaints at all. It was 3.5. Oh, and 28 Summers was 4.5. Like, I really, really liked it. So then I did something crazy because I read A Little Life, which is kind of fitting my outfit, so that's fun. Yeah, that was just devastatingly sad. Oh my goodness, but so good. Like, probably one of my favorite books I will ever read. It was just incredible. I love the writing, and why I would say it's extremely sad. Basically, it's about Jude and his friends and the trauma he goes through his whole life. He just never gets a break, honestly. And yeah, but at the same time, his friends love him so much and they do so much for him, and I love reading about that and what they were doing for him and how his life kind of got better-ish, but it was still really heavy and dark. And at some points I was just like reading it and got so nauseous because the things that were happening in the book were so terrible. And I read the fourth part, which was the axiom of equality, and I really thought it couldn't get worse with all this trauma in his childhood, and it just kept getting worse. So yay. But yeah, otherwise it was really just amazing and I love it so much, and I already want to reread it, which is good because I started annotating the book and then I just stopped because I just needed to read it so quickly because I was so like into the storyline. So I need to reread it and fully annotate it this time. Then while I was reading that, I thought I would need something a little bit more, you know, lighthearted. So I reread the Hot Summer books, which was just a really good time. I know they like look so fun and happy, you know, like look at that cover, and that cover, like the colors are just happy. Go. the colors and everything is just happy-go-lucky, but oh my goodness, the fourth book is so sad. And I'm really scared about the TV show, like the second season. But anyways, yeah, I was rereading all the books in preparation for the second season that's gonna come out in a few days. And I'm so excited about it. I cannot wait. And yeah, it's about Nick and Charlie. Takes place in London. No, why was it in London? Takes place in the UK. And it's just so cute and YA and figuring out your sexuality and coming of age kinda, and just, yeah. And a lot about mental health, because Charlie is really going through it. Love that. So it was definitely sad, but not as sad as that Little Life, because but yeah, all of them get 4 stars because it's a comic. Like, I can't give it 5 stars, but it's a really, really good comic, you know. Then I read The Inmate by Freida McFadden. I'm slowly going through her backlist, and this one was really, I feel like a lot of people have already read the book, so I was really like wanting to read it soon. And it was really fun. Like, I just love her thrillers so much because they're on Kindle Unlimited, they're short, they're easy to read, they're basically like junk food, I feel like, and really fun. So I had no complaints, except that the main character was a little bit stupid. Very stupid, actually. But she did get me with the plot twist, so kind of, I don't know. It was really good, so I really liked it. And yeah, it's basically about this woman who goes back to her hometown, and where she moved away because her high school boyfriend was trying to kill her. And yeah, so he ended up in prison, and then she's the nurse in the prison, and she gets back to talking to him because she moved back, and she's like, did he actually do it, or did I just convict someone completely innocent for 10 years? Whoopsie. And that's basically the plot. And yeah, it's a fun thriller, you know, no complaints. 3.5 stars. Then I listened to the audiobook of Black Cake, which is a really, really good book. I just personally didn't like the writing or the way the story was structured, because there were just too many different plot points, and I feel like in 28 Summers it was really similar, but it was just better organized, or I just like understood it way better, because in this one it was jumping timelines, jumping people, everything was just confusing. I was listening to it and I was so confused the whole time, so didn't love it. It was really good, so I definitely recommend it, and I feel like a lot of people could love it. It just wasn't for me, but it was an important storyline, because it's basically about this woman who tells her kids her life story after her death, and how she came from the Caribbean to the UK, and then to New York, and then to California. And it's really kind of sad, so it's definitely important to talk about, but I just didn't love the way it was done, you know, so I gave it 3 stars. Then I listened to the audiobook of When Air Becomes Breath, which is a memoir about a doctor who is really successful. He was so smart, oh my goodness, like incredible smart, extremely successful, and then he gets diagnosed with cancer. And it's just about him coming to terms with that, trying to figure out what to do now, and his family and stuff like that. And yeah, it's really sad, because in the end he dies, because yeah, it's in the summary, so it's not a spoiler or anything, but it's just really sad, and it feels like such a waste, you know, because he was so, like, he could have done so much with his brain or something, I don't really know, so that was sad. Then I read All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham, which has been on my TBR for way too long, so I'm really happy I finally read it, and it was okay. It was okay. It was a little bit slow to get through because there was nothing too crazy happening, so I was waiting for the plot twist, but the ending was good, so the ending really saved it. Like, the first 200 pages, meh, but the last 100, they were intense, so I really loved the ending. So that kind of saved it, so I'm gonna give it 3.75 stars, and also because I just loved A Flicker in the Dark so much. So yeah. And then we have 2 more rereads. I was rereading so many books this month, but I honestly love it. Like, I'm so happy to be back home and being able to reread my favorite books, you know. So yes, I listened to the audiobook of Carrie Soto is Back because I just missed it, you know. I needed to read it again, and it was an incredible audiobook because it was just really good, you know. It's about this tennis player Carrie Soto, and she goes back from retirement. She retired. She was one of the best tennis players in the world. Like, she was #1, and then she retired, and somebody else is trying to break her record for the most slams she's won in her career, and she's like, nah, I'm gonna try to win that record back. I will still be the best tennis player in the world. And so she is back, and I absolutely love this storyline so much. It's so incredible. Like, one of my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, I would definitely say. And I love that cover, and it's so good. But the only thing I hated was the sexism in this book. Like, oh my goodness. Like, obviously intentional, because like, it's not Taylor Jenkins Reid, obviously, but the way, because you get like little snippets from other people that talk about her, like, for example, like this, and they talk about her game, and they are pure utter shit. This man in the book, oh my goodness, they made me so mad. But yeah, 5 stars. I love this book so much. And then last but certainly not least, I reread Aristophanes and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World, which is the second book in the Aristophanes and Dante series. I read the first one in June, and then the second one in July, and it was incredible. I had an amazing time. Like, I was reading it for the whole month of July and just kept going, and it was extremely fun, and I loved it so much. Like, Aristophanes and Dante, they have my whole fucking heart. I love them so much. It is incredible. So I love it, and I gave it 5 stars. I even love it so much more than the first one, so it's so good. Anyways, I'm still not over that I'm finally done with it. Like, I'm sad. But anyways, those were all the books I have read in July. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go like and subscribe if you did. And I hope I see you in the next one. Bye guys!